Tonight, breaking news. More than 50 million under a flood threat as the powerful storm that ravaged the South takes aim at the I-95 corridor. The punishing storm has already claimed at least 6 lives and injured dozens more. A state of emergency declared in Tennessee. A long-track tornado cutting through neighborhoods just north of Nashville. Southern Kentucky not spared either. More than 28 reported tornadoes spotted across the South. Major cities in the Northeast are now bracing for as much as 6 inches of rain and powerful wind gusts. That threat is expected to last through the night and into the Monday morning commute. Our team is on the ground in Tennessee, and the latest on where that sprawling system is heading next. Overseas, in the war between Israel and Hamas, the new warning from Qatar that the opportunity for a truce is narrowing as the IDF intensifies its campaign, saying it struck 250 targets just in the past few days. The World Health Organization sounding the alarm with the health system on the verge of collapse, large crowds gathering desperate for food. Our team is on the ground where families are fighting to stay warm and stay alive. James Longman reports from Israel. The woman challenging Donald Trump for the Republican nomination. My one-on-one with former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, what she thinks should happen in Gaza and why she says Trump should not be president. On the campaign trail, the former president doubles down, repeating his controversial remarks on what he would do on day one of a second term and what President Biden had to say this weekend at a closed-door fundraiser. Mounting pressure on campus 1 day after the resignation of the University of Pennsylvania president and head of the Board of Trustees, why other Ivy League presidents are under intense scrutiny with their jobs on the line. Police in Texas arrest a suspect in the murder of a high school cheerleader as her grieving mother begs for justice. What we're learning tonight. And America Strong tonight with hot chocolate and warm wishes. The sisters from Chicago, their special holiday tradition, spreading the joy of the season for a great cause.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Sunday. I'm Lindsay Davis. As we come on the air tonight, more than 50 million people in the Northeast are under a flood watch from Virginia to Maine. But we begin with that deadly tornado outbreak in the South. At least 6 people are dead in central Tennessee, including a 2-year-old little boy. This fireball erupting as the twister battered Madison. A state of emergency declared across all of Tennessee. Crews are searching for homes for those trapped or injured. The trail of destruction is visible for miles. Homes and businesses destroyed, reduced to rubble within seconds. These devastated communities are now struggling to piece their lives back together, facing a grim holiday season. One of the tornadoes knocking out power to tens of thousands, and in some areas, those outages could last for days. The same storm system spawning at least 28 tornado reports in just 2 days. ABC's Melissa Adan leads us off tonight from Tennessee.
Tonight, deadly tornadoes and severe storms leaving a trail of destruction across the southern U.S. At least 6 killed, including a 2-year-old boy, and dozens more injured after an outbreak of over 25 reported tornadoes across the region. This tornado blowing through northern Nashville, damaging electrical equipment, igniting a massive explosion.
Oh my God.
Officials say 3 people in that same neighborhood were killed, including that 2-year-old and his mother, after the winds blew one of these mobile homes onto the other, leaving nothing but mangled wreckage. The tornado's path coming through this street, taking down power lines, hitting cars, leaving debris everywhere. Attendees of a nearby church banquet racing to take shelter inside. The church now severely damaged. The pastor there says none of the roughly 40 people inside were hurt.
We get to say good morning to our loved ones again. We all walked out alive.
Authorities today warning damage from the storm still poses a threat.
There's still a significant risk of debris in unstable structure areas. It is critical that you exercise extreme caution when you navigate through affected areas.
Tonight, more than 50 million Americans under flood threat, with the deadly system now sweeping east, bringing torrential rains and damaging winds from northern Florida to New England. Here in Tennessee, a state of emergency remains, Lindsay, and tonight we're also learning that there were hundreds of buildings destroyed, the vast majority of them homes or apartments. Lindsay?
Heartbreaking any time, but especially in the midst of the holidays. Melissa, thank you. Millions in the Northeast are now bracing for severe flooding and a potentially dangerous commute on Monday morning. Let's go straight to WABC's meteorologist Lee Goldberg. Lee, what can we expect tonight?
Lindsay, this is a full spectrum storm, everything from severe weather to snow. The Hudson behind me, calm now, will be probably whitecaps in just a few hours as we get into the brunt of the storm here. But on radar, it's rain up and down the coast. We had severe weather in the Carolinas early, but now we're focused on the Northeast. Look at the flood alerts from Baltimore all the way up to Bangor, Maine. High wind alerts along the coast. And then inland, you have your winter storm alerts. We can get up to a foot of snow in upstate New York and northern New England. So the timing, New York City, get ready at 10 o'clock. Get some very heavy rain and gusty winds. And then during the overnight, a fire hose is going to set up from Long Island into Connecticut and Rhode Island and central Mass. You get half a foot of rain. And then Boston, this is your morning commute. Very heavy rainfall and gusty winds. Could gust to 60, Cape Cod, all the way up to the Maine coast. And look at the inland snow. And then finally, it begins to pull out. Allow for a lot of delay in travel in the morning hours. Have your mobile alerts on during the overnight and pack your patience in the morning. A quiet stretch will follow. Lindsay?
A real mixed bag with this storm, Lee. Thank you. Now to the Israel-Hamas war tonight. Qatar is warning the window for a ceasefire is narrowing, and the World Health Organization cautions Gaza's healthcare system is collapsing. Displaced people packed into smaller areas, desperate for food, water, and sanitation. Diseases are said to be running rampant. ABC's James Longman reports from Israel.
Ongoing bombardment in Gaza is narrowing the window for a truce. That's Qatar's warning tonight as they urge the U.S. to play a broader role in pressuring Israel and agreeing to a ceasefire. It was the Qatar-brokered truce that secured the release of 110 hostages. 137 remain. Over the weekend, Israel says it struck more than 250 targets in Gaza, forces deepening the ground fight in Khan Yunis, claiming to have found AK-47s and grenades ready for combat. This is a war being fought in and around people's homes. ABC News producer Sami Ziara is there.
You hear in the background the exchanging of fire. The ground vision continue for the 5 days. And there is, heavy machine gun has been used.
Thousands of civilians caught in the crossfire. More than 18,000 now dead, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. And the humanitarian crisis worsening. Crowds forming at food distribution sites. The World Health Organization warning that Gaza's health system is collapsing.
The impact of the conflict on health is catastrophic.
WHO's director saying overcrowding in shelters could lead to the spread of disease. The IDF says they're doing what they can to protect civilians, but new videos drawing criticism.
We've seen videos today out of Gaza that show IDF soldiers in gift shops smashing toys. Another video I saw of 2 IDF soldiers burning material that was going to be handed out, humanitarian goods, water. What goes through your mind when you see videos like that?
They're unacceptable. There are fringe events that need to be dealt with, and we are dealing with them with disciplinary measures.
And tonight, ABC News has been given special access to the IDF base, where victims of sexual violence during the October 7th attacks were identified.
We're more than 60 days now since these attacks, and yet there are teams here still going through identification processes. That speaks to the level of violence.
100%. It's very difficult to identify bodies that have been obliterated. They came to us with eyes open, with their mouths in grimaces, with their hands clenched. These women died in agony. I know that, and our teams, we saw that.
Just horrific details there. James Longman joins us now. James, the war has, of course, raised tensions across the region, and Israel now claiming after it defeats Hamas, it may turn to a wider fight against Hezbollah?
Yeah, Lindsay, just today, Israel carried out a series of strikes in southern Lebanon trying to hit Hezbollah targets. And Israel's national security advisor has said that if Hezbollah remains a threat, then they could turn their attention more fully onto Lebanon once the war in Gaza is over. Lindsay.
All right, James, thank you. Back here at home, one-on-one with Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley, who is surging in the polls and now a frequent target of her GOP rivals. I got a chance to sit down with a former U.S. ambassador on the campaign trail in Iowa, where we discussed several issues, including the war between Israel and Hamas and former President Trump. As you well know, the U.S. recently vetoed a UN Security Council vote calling for a ceasefire. Groups like Doctors Without Borders have said that that was a vote against humanity. I know that you have said no pause, no ceasefire. To date, we're talking about 17,000 Palestinians who have died, 7,000 of them children. My question to you is, how does this end at what cost?
Look, we care about the people in Gaza, especially the civilians. We know Hamas is there. We want to make sure that we get as many people out safe. We've got our hostages there. But the reality is, the best way to help the people in Gaza is to eliminate Hamas. That's who's been controlling their situation for so long. That's who uses them as human shields. And so what we know is anytime they've given a ceasefire to Hamas, people die. They kill Israeli soldiers. They kidnap Israeli soldiers. We see what happens. America and Israel value human life. It's what makes us a civilized country. Hamas does not value human life.
Ambassador, certainly a big surge in the polls lately. I want to start where the last debate left off, where one question went unanswered as far as, is Donald Trump fit to be president? Chris Christie said he's unfit. I want to just put that directly to you in a yes or no.
It's not about fitness. I think he's fit to be president. It's should he be president. I don't think he should be president. You know, I thought he was the right president at the right time. I agreed with a lot of his policies. The problem is, you see our country is in disarray. Our world is on fire. And you can't defeat Democrat chaos with Republican chaos. And Donald Trump brings us chaos.
We'll have more on this wide-ranging interview tomorrow night at 7 on ABC News Live Prime. More now on the race for the White House. Former President Donald Trump doubling down and defending his comments that he would be a dictator, but only on day one if reelected. ABC's Mary Alice Parks has more from Washington.
Tonight, Donald Trump indicted for illegally trying to stay in power after the 2020 election, joking again about saying he wanted to be a dictator for a day.
And you know why I wanted to be a dictator? Because I want a wall, right? I want a wall, and I want to drill, drill, drill.
Trump campaigning at a New York fundraiser Saturday night, saying he hopes to exact revenge on Democrats he thinks wronged him.
I only can say to Joe is, be very careful what you wish for, because what you've done is a terrible thing.
President Biden this weekend campaigning behind closed doors in Los Angeles, telling donors, quote, the greatest threat Trump poses is to the democracy. Biden's son this week facing new tax charges that could end up being a headache for his father's campaign if court dates coincide with the election. Hunter Biden's attorney saying it's all overblown and he paid his taxes back. According to a new Wall Street Journal poll, Trump leads Biden 47-43 in a hypothetical matchup. And late today, Trump abruptly canceled his plans to testify in his own defense in that civil fraud trial about his business assets. He said on social media he has nothing more to say. He said he stands behind the expert witnesses that his team has brought. And Lindsay, he said once again he thinks the case against him is bias.
All right, Mary Alice, thank you. Now to college presidents under fire after testifying before Congress, accused of dodging questions about anti-Semitism. The University of Pennsylvania president resigned Saturday. Let's bring in ABC's Rena Roy. And Rena, how much pressure are other university presidents now facing to follow her example and step down?
Lindsay, that's right. The presidents of Harvard and MIT also facing growing pressure to step down after their testimonies. Today, officials at Harvard gathering for a regularly scheduled meeting just days after that fiery hearing on Capitol Hill. It's unclear what exactly happened at that meeting, but Harvard President Claudine Gay has apologized for what she said. She's accused of failing to condemn anti-Semitism on campus in her testimony. There's been no public statement from the Harvard Corporation, and that's quite different from what we've seen at MIT. The president there is seeing a show of support from colleagues, even as more than 70 members of Congress have called for all three presidents to be fired. Lindsay?
All right, Rena, thank you. Now to the arrest of a man suspected of capital murder and the shocking death of a high school cheerleader in Texas. On Tuesday, the mother of 16-year-old Lizbeth Medina discovered her body in the bathtub of their home. Here's ABC's Jaclyn Lee.
Tonight, the man police believe killed 16-year-old cheerleader Lizbeth Medina inside her own home in Edna, Texas, is in custody on suspicion of capital murder. Police arresting 23-year-old Rafael Gouveia Romero, who they say is undocumented, Saturday night in Schulenburg, about 100 miles west of Houston. Hours Hours earlier, police releasing surveillance photos of a man wearing a black sweatshirt seen driving a silver Ford Taurus.
She was my motivation to keep pushing and driving.
The community uniting with candles and balloons to honor Lizbeth at a vigil.
16-year-old female not conscious.
Lizbeth's mother, Jackie, discovering her daughter in a bathtub just before 7 Tuesday night after the high schooler did not show up to a Christmas parade with her cheer squad.
My daughter was found in a way that no mother should ever find their child.
Lindsay, police have not clarified if Medina and Romero knew each other prior or if this attack was a random incident. Lindsay.
So tragic. Jaclyn, thank you. And there's still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Sunday. President Zelensky prepares for an in-person appeal for aid from Washington and the massive fires threatening entire neighborhoods. What we're learning. Next tonight, news just coming in. Ukraine's President Zelensky is heading to Washington on Tuesday. He'll be lobbying the White House and Congress for more assistance in Ukraine's war with Russia. The visit comes as an aid package remains stalled in Congress. Zelensky is expected to meet President Biden and House and Senate leaders. Hundreds of people in central Chile forced to evacuate their homes. These terrifying images show fast-moving brush fires carving a path of destruction through entire neighborhoods. The Forest Service issued a red alert, the highest for several areas. More than 150 firefighters and 30 trucks were sent in to battle the blazes, which broke out this weekend. And when we come back, King James and the Lakers bring home yet another trophy and what LeBron had to say after the big win. To the index now, an investigation is underway in Philadelphia after a shootout overnight between a suspect and police officers. Dozens of rounds were fired. 2 officers and a suspect were wounded and rushed to a local hospital. The city's police chief said that it's a miracle that both officers survived. One, a 6-year veteran, had previously been shot in the line of duty. The NBA season is far from over, but the LA Lakers can already call themselves champions. The team taking home the first in-season tournament trophy with a win over the Indiana Pacers. When asked how does he feel about winning it all, LeBron James said, records will be broken, but one thing that will never be broken is to be the first to do something. And when we come back, the family holiday tradition started in a garage that just keeps on growing. It's our America Strong. Finally tonight, 2 sisters and their decades-long mission to spread some holiday joy. Mara and Kayla Winfrey know a lot about sharing the spirit of Christmas. After all, they've been doing it for 20 years, since they were just 2 and 4 years old. With hot chocolate and warm wishes, their tradition lives on, selling hot cocoa out of their family's garage in Homewood, Illinois.
Our neighbors kind of just expect it now that, oh yeah, what day is it? They start asking us in October.
All the money they raise goes to the Marine Corps' Toys for Tots. Mara and Kayla's hot chocolate stand raised $50 the first year, and it's been growing ever since. Last year, they raked in a cool $11,000.
We've kind of been blown away with what people have offered.
The stand is a true family effort. That's their mom, Maureen, using 2 large pots to serve up her secret hot chocolate recipe.
The stirring is important. Have to add the vanilla at the end.
Meanwhile, their dad, Dave, is considered the worker bee, helping out wherever he's needed.
Very proud of them. I think it's, it's their way of giving back and paying it forward.
Soon after the donations are in, Mara and Kayla go shopping, selecting a wide range of toys for children in need before handing them all off to the Marines for distribution.
I don't think we would have ever expected at 4 and 2 that it would grow to this point.
It's turned into a great tradition, not only for our family, but for our community.
Warms the tummy and heart. Thanks for watching. I'm Lindsay Davis. See you on GMA. Have a great night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir America's most watched newscast.